Hey, what's up, guys? All right, we've made it to the second week, and again, it's a Monday, so that means national sports are what we are talking about. If you've missed the last week of videos, go back and watch them on my YouTube. You can find them on my Twitter or on my Facebook as well. I am Taylor from K-Way. In fact, that's my handle on Twitter. If you want to find me over on Twitter, Taylor Nitz. If you want to find me on YouTube or Facebook, my last name Nitz. It's a little bit of a weird one, spelled N as in Nancy, I-T-Z. And again, as I mentioned, today is national sports. And last week, the schedule, let me get to that first. Schedule goes, national sports is what we talk about on Mondays. Then Wednesdays, we put out a video where we talk about something in the news. And then Fridays is local sports, where we talk about sports that are local to K-Way, which is the radio station that I work at. You can find me over there, either talking about news or talking about sports. And in fact, we are into the postseason of basketball for both boys and girls, and wrestling. I don't do wrestling, but for basketball, you can hear me talk about boys and girls high school postseason basketball over at K-Way right about this time. But today we're going to talk a little baseball, and as most of you probably have heard, last week it was announced, or it was proposed, I suppose, a new extra innings rule, and there's been a lot of outcry about it. The purists, a lot of them, don't like it, and I consider myself a purist, so I'm putting myself out on the line here a little bit when I say I'm kind of in favor of this rule. So the rule, it involves, when you get into extra innings, starting with a base runner on second base already. And depending on where you are, you may have heard of this rule. International rules is how I know it. It's also apparently in some places known as California rules, and has, I think, some other names. But basically, you get into extra innings, the team batting starts. They start the inning with a runner on second base. And I like it. And here's why I like it. You jump into the drama. And I'm the type of guy also who likes 1-0 ball games. Those are my favorite ball games. Pitchers duels. That really does it for me. That's what I really, really like. So I think it's a little bit weird probably that I'm in favor of this rule, but I kind of like it. You jump straight into the drama, and immediately the team batting has a chance to score. I mean, the pitchers, their pitches needed to be fantastic and executed brilliantly, as it were, and that only intensifies here in this situation. And I like it, man. I kind of like it. I think it's a good rule, and we'll see if it actually gets enacted. The people like myself that don't like seeing rules with baseball tampered with, because baseball's kind of perfect already. They're upset about it. They're upset about it partly because, for that thing alone, is that they just don't want to see the game that a lot of us think is already perfect to be messed with at this point. But I mean, it's like I said, it gets straight into drama. It's like the college football rule, where you start 25-yard line or 30, wherever it is that they start from. You jump into the drama. And that's one of the reasons that college football overtime is infinitely better than professional football overtime, NFL overtime, which is better than it used to be, but is nowhere near. Can you imagine the Super Bowl with college overtime rules? It would have been amazing. It was already fantastic. It would have been amazing. And that's sort of how I think this rule would work with baseball. I think it makes baseball, the extra innings, which is already fine and good and dramatic, makes it that much more dramatic. And And also, it probably helps a little bit the people that want baseball sped up a little bit. This helps with the extra inning games. Although that's not a problem for me in baseball. Baseball could go all damn day and it would be great for me. I wouldn't care. But for those people that are worried about that, maybe this helps a little bit. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people that are like, no, we can't do this. Nope, can't do this. It would ruin the game. Do not do this. But the only actual argument that I've seen for it is a pretty minuscule one, if you ask me. The argument has been, so say you have a pitcher throwing a perfect game. It's nothing. This particular pitcher has a perfect game. He's still out there in the 10th inning, which in Major League Baseball these days, I don't know. Maybe Bumgarner does that. I just think that the way that managers think and the way that ball clubs think these days, probably he wouldn't be out there at this juncture anyway. But if he has a perfect game, I guess there's a better chance of it happening. So you've got this guy throwing a perfect game. You've got a runner who starts on second base, and say he goes to third on a ground ball and then scores on a suicide squeeze. Now, nothing happened in there to wreck the perfect game, but a run has scored, and people seem to be a little bit fed up about that and don't want to allow that to happen at all. To me, that makes it even more interesting, more cool. Then you've got this game that you've just watched probably, and you can say, look how cool this is. Look at this game. This dude threw a perfect game, yet still lost. Baseball is built on two things: storylines and stats. That's what it is. Storylines and stats. That's what baseball is built on. And so having a guy throw a perfect game and still lose, that creates one of those just crazy things, a storyline you can look back to, and it makes the game better. So this argument that people have put out against this rule kind of helps this rule, I think. So what are your thoughts on this rule? Do you think it's a good idea? Would you be in favor of it? Are you like me? Do you think that it would improve the drama and get straight into the drama and make the game maybe a little bit better, maybe even more interesting than it already is? Or do you come down on the other side of it? Do you think this is a terrible rule? Are you like many of the other purists out there who, and again, I count myself as a purist. So if you are a purist, I'm not saying anything bad about you. You and me see things a lot alike. But are you a purist that says, no, don't mess with a perfect game already? So I'm really interested to see what you guys think about this. Again, I kind of like this rule. I probably shouldn't, knowing the guy that I am, I probably shouldn't like this rule, but I do kind of like it. And, it's also a thing that I think people can relate to. That's the other argument that some people have thrown out, is that, this is a rule that nobody's had forever and ever and ever. And now you just want to implement it. But actually, I play softball, slow pitch softball. And in a lot of places, once you get into extras, this is what we do. And it seems to work really, really well. And everybody, their emotions are running high at this point, because it doesn't take much for that runner on second base to score. He's already in scoring position. So, what do you think? Do you like this rule or do you not? Let me know. Leave me a comment either on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Again, Taylor from K-Way is where you can find me over on Twitter. And then Taylor Nitz, last name spelled N as in Nancy, I-T-Z, is where you can find me on YouTube or Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, leave me a thumbs up and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. You don't want to miss any more of these. All right, thanks, guys. And remember, go Cubs, fly the W. All right, bye.